This is my third attempt trying to film a video about Taylor Swift's Midnights, and I have so much to talk about, so I'm just going to get into it. Initially, I was not quite a Taylor Swift fan. Like, I definitely had songs that were my favorites of all time that happened to be written by her, like You Belong With Me or Love Story, just like staple classics that you could just describe as good music, you know? Like, there were definitely songs she'd written like that which mattered to me. As I got older, I found more songs like that, like just singles or like one song, like one kind of popular song that got to me. The first one was Lover, the second one was August, and the third was Ivy. I had a phase with Marjorie and even Betty, which I don't really like that much anymore. But I didn't really have any songs Taylor Swift that I would be able to claim as me having pure love for this woman. Because even though I was obsessed with August and I was obsessed with Ivy, I still never liked Taylor Swift too much as an artist. Like, in the sense that if you asked me my favorite musicians of all time, I would name songs of hers, sure, but I would never claim that she's my favorite musician or anything at all of all time. So yeah, that was my journey to Taylor Swift. Folklore and Evermore were released. I didn't exactly have many high hopes for them. I wasn't excited to listen to it. Like, a few songs would come up on my YouTube dashboard and I would check them out for sure. I would skip to the chorus, vaguely look at the lyrics, and yeah, I found a few songs of hers that I kind of like, but I mostly found her to be extremely self indulgent. Like, there were lots of songs like Lonely Witch version, or Long Pond Studio Sessions, or a seventh album of Taylor Swift's, but Taylor's version somewhere there. So I never really liked any of the Elvira remixes or anything like that. I thought that releasing so many versions of a song that I found to be just kind of okay, at best mediocre, was just very, very self indulgent. I became a Swiftie, I feel like I had double standards because I suddenly liked all of these different versions. I suddenly thought it was so cool that every single person has like a separate Taylor Swift era and song and version that matters to them. Like, for example, I think it's psychopathic to listen to Taylor Swift All Too Well that is not the 10-minute version. It just feels wrong. It feels like people are missing out when they do that. It feels kind of like an injustice to the song itself, because when I think All Too Well, I can't imagine listening to that song without the bridge and like the haunting ending and the short film as well. Like, even the short film version, I can distinctly tell the difference between every version of the song, and even just by the opening notes I could probably tell the difference. And then I kind of get the same thing could be true of someone who likes Long Pond Studio Sessions. I like State of Grace acoustic version for a lot, for example. So I kind of get that. I get that, everyone has a different version of a song they like, and that Taylor Swift has managed to kind of just be very smart with the way she releases her music. And I feel like she is smart in that regard. But a lot of people said that, she's this very smart businesswoman. And I definitely agree with that to an extent, even though I think she can't pick singles for the life of her. And releasing albums itself was quite a risky move, and it would not have been successful in the way it was if she hadn't packaged it the way she did, if she hadn't released so many songs from the archive, if she hadn't revived her music the way she did. I don't know if I would be a Swiftie today. A Swiftie. Oh my god. I've never referred to myself like that. But yeah, I kind of feel like Taylor Swift releasing all of these like re-recordings of her music is what made me, from like an ordinary, casual, occasional listener to Taylor Swift, to who I am today, wearing a red shirt and recording a video for an album that's not due to come out for another 2 days. Time that I ever heard Folklore after having turned 17, I found that those lyrics, those poems, I can't think of any other way to describe them, those pieces that she wrote, because to me they aren't songs anymore. They're like these like musical pieces, like in the same vein when people talk about like Mozart or like, I don't know, some other pretentious person. Like, I feel like the Folklore era, that whole album, like I wasn't around for it when it was released. Like, I never joined in on the hype. I never really liked Folklore. It was like a very mediocre album to me. But listening to those like gentle chords and like all of these extremely raw, dark lyrics that, were a lot of times very disturbing. I really, really resonate with her music. So that's kind of why I decided to delve deeper into her previous eras. So when Red re-released and when Fearless had its time or whatever, I really got into those re-recordings after all the hype had died down, and I was able to form my own opinions of that era, those songs, those music, and now they have such meaning for me because I look at songs that weren't out then, which I can't even imagine not being on Red, like All Too Well 10-minute version, Better Man, Nothing New. So now because I'm finally actually going to be around for a proper re-recording in the sense that I'm there, counting down the days. I know it's gonna come out. It's like something I'm actually anticipating and I will probably enjoy. I really, really, really want to document this entire process and just my thoughts on what it could be, what it will be, because I feel like with folklore, it just changed so much. Like my whole relationship with Taylor Swift, and also not by extension, but kind of my relationship with myself has changed so much that I want to have, like, she views the world so differently. In my relationship with the world as well, and the way that I view different things and people and ideas and like music has changed so much. I want to kind of just be around for this. It's kind of like, I imagine this must be feel like for someone who is an absent parent, like wanting to catch up on all those years with your child that you will never get again. So yes, that is what I want to do. One way in which I will accomplish this is I want to listen to all of her music again. And I will not be including horrible additions like that one song which is only on Miss Americana, Young World or something. I hate that song. And the Christmas songs and the Jesus songs. I will be avoiding those, but I will be listening to pretty much everything else because I love the vintage Taylor, Tim McGraw era. I felt like some of her songs she wrote when she was 14 or 15 meant so much to me musically, lyrically, in every kind of way than her latest work, like including even Reputation, would be in that regard. So I really want to listen to those songs because they have so much soul in them. I think people often underestimate how talented she was when she was so young. And a key feature of that music is how long it is. Like some of those songs are 6 minutes or 7 minutes or like 5 minutes long. And you would think that's a bit self-indulgent, especially because Bohemian Rhapsody even isn't that long. But I really, really, really like the idea of just her having so much to say and not, kind of containing all of that raw energy and emotions and feelings and trying to condense that all into like a short amount of time to kind of fit the commercial idea of what a song should be. A testament to what happens when you let Taylor Swift, or indeed any artist, but specifically Taylor Swift, really go with her music is you have gems like All Too Well that are just so distinct. And even in terms of like commercial success, I feel like Taylor Swift All Too Well, I remember there was a time when it was one of her top 5 most listened to songs on Spotify. So I think it's interesting that a lot of the music that she writes, when it's long and when it's like that kind of, I guess, overindulgent kind of music, she creates these things that are just so memorable. Not these things, these pieces, these like just wonderfully lyrical and musical masterpieces, in my opinion. And I think that's one of the reasons why Taylor Swift will be remembered more than anyone else. In my college essay, I remember this line I wrote about what I want to pursue, literature, not just preserving me after I die, but sustaining me while I live. And I feel like Taylor Swift's music is kind of like something that one of those unique things in life, like love, which kind of endures, that it matters because the world will end, it sustains us while we live, and it will be remembered after we die. So that's kind of why I am, yes. First thing I will be doing is going through the track list, and I'm excited about this one in particular because I had a lot of thoughts, and I remember even filming a video yesterday, or perhaps sometime before that, where I talked about my thoughts about the track list, but they didn't kind of come across the way I wanted them to. I didn't enjoy making them, and I feel like they were kind of rushed. Like I was just trying to condense all of my thoughts about Taylor Swift into this little slot. Kind of like what happened with her music. Okay, so I have my laptop here with me today, and I will be going through her track list. I will be talking about the album cover. I will tell you every single thought that occurs to me. Well, most of them anyway, so not terribly intimate. I was just here for the track list, but as I'm looking at the music and lyrics, it says that journalists have described, under the theme section of Wikipedia, journalists have described Midnight as a concept album. Midnight is a recurring lyrical motif in Swift's music, having been used in different contexts and viewpoints in her preceding albums. The AV Club said Midnight expands the artistic motif into a full-blown event. So that is interesting. Now, according to the cover art that is described in Wikipedia, it basically has an A side and a B side. Apparently, when you go to the vinyl, you can actually get like a clock shape. I saw this on her Instagram as well. But one thing I do really appreciate in this entire album thing is the idea that she put about putting the track lists on the cover. I think it's very 90s. And I heard like someone say in like some YouTube comment that Taylor Swift's Midnight is kind of reminiscent of like this winter 90s fall aesthetic. So I can really see what they mean by that, because the idea that we will get to see like her Midnight in her folklore era as well, Reputation, like these two kind of almost polar opposite women, is just so exciting, and it is deeply intriguing to me. Is it really? It probably is. First track on the album is Lavender Haze, which apparently has Zoe Kravitz, who I love and I think is one of the most gorgeous women ever. I loved seeing her in High Fidelity. I loved seeing her in everything she does. I love Zoe Kravitz. She is so cool, and if she had Instagram, I'm not sure if she does, I would follow her, which is like a huge deal for me because I only follow 74 people currently, and most of them are like, you know, lame people like from my school or whatever. So yeah, I rarely follow people on Instagram. So yeah, if she had Instagram, I would follow her, and so yeah, it is a big deal. But yeah, there's Mark Spears, who I don't know, and Jahan Sweet, and Sam Dew, who I don't know. They're all working on this song. So yeah, that's pretty interesting. But yeah, the length of the song is 3 minutes and 22 seconds. Now, when I heard Lavender Haze, the first thing I thought of was the lesbian group Lavender Menace. That was, you know, kind of involved in like liberation and like radical protest, etc. Like at some point in American history, probably the 60s, 70s kind of time. And secondly, I was reminded of Haze by Tessa Violet, which used to be one of my favorite songs at some point in my life for like 5 minutes. So yeah, I really am excited for this, but I kind of, okay, so I know people are kind of against the whole Gilder theories, and I kind of don't know how I feel about them, because I kind of feel like queer people are extremely talented. Like whenever I like am really intrigued by an artist and am blown away by their brilliance, they always end up being queer. So now in my mind, only gay people can make good art. So for that reason, I think that she might be, but also that's not the point. But also her music and everything, it has these kind of androgynous sort of I don't want to say every man figures, but she's very mysterious. So I feel like it should be pretty obvious who she is and who she's not. But you know, we don't know. We can only speculate. But regardless, yeah, Lavender Haze, I feel like I won't like too much. I think it'll be like a song I will save. I think it will be kind of like what happened with Last Great American Dynasty, where I didn't like it initially, and then it became like a song I really liked a little bit more than I thought I would. So I think it's going to have this kind of Coney Island, Last Great American Dynasty, you know, Cornelia Street, but not quite energy. So that's what I'm expecting. It also might just be because like the Lover era was pink, so this is lavender, which is a similar shade to pink. And okay, once again, there's another color here. The second song is maroon. Now, all of these songs are produced by Jack Antonoff, who I think is just brilliant. I sometimes think if I were Jack Antonoff, oh my god, Jesus Christ, Jack Antonoff, I would be pretty resentful. Because if I'm producing all of these other musicians' amazing magnum opus type of work, then what about my work? What would happen to me? I think I would just suffer from this kind of mediocrity complex and like feeling like I've given my best years and time away to people who aren't deserving of it. But yeah, that's on Jack Antonoff. That's on Jack Antonoff, period. I don't know how you guys say it. But yeah, maroon. So this, I think, would be from her Red era. It would make sense because if these are all kind of paying homage to all the 13 sleepless nights in her life, technically 14 because there's hits difference I'm going to come to soon, I think this would be like talking about a stronger feeling in Red, a deeper feeling. So if Red is just like the feelings she had at the time, Maroon to me would seem to be about, reflecting on those feelings and them developing some kind of intensity because Maroon is a very intense and darker shade of red. So I think Maroon would kind of have more darker elements to it. I kind of think of blood. And yeah, this song is almost 4 minutes long. So yeah, I don't know how I feel about this one. Once again, I think it's kind of going to be the mirror ball of the song. You know what? Maybe I'm making these predictions based off of like the sounds of like the titles, because Lavender, Cornelia, Lost Great American Dynasty, Dynasty, yeah. But yeah, I think it's gonna be okay. Third is Anti-Hero, which everyone's hyping up for some reason because it's going to premiere as a music video. Now I'm excited about that because I absolutely love Taylor Swift's music videos. Like with the exception of her, I guess, visualizer lyric pieces, except like of course cardigan type songs. She kind of misses with them. And I kind of think that they would, she's the kind of person who has the budget big enough to make music videos of almost every song on the album and actually, draw people to her music in that way. But she doesn't do that. And I find that interesting. And also a bad business move. Because a lot of songs like Soon You'll Get Better or, It's Time to Go or Right Where You Left Me, these kind of songs are brilliant, but I feel like they are literally slept on because people just don't have music videos to accompany them. And the lyric videos on her YouTube channel are just so boring and look so bland and just like such white girl, live, love, laugh, Eiffel Tower, vanilla bean aesthetic in the worst way possible. So yeah, even though Taylor Swift literally invented that aesthetic and made it so beautiful and so appealing and made it okay to be girly and a woman and feminine and all of those things at once. So yeah, I feel like she could benefit from making music videos of all of her music, or at least most of it. But yeah, Anti-Hero, I am excited to watch that. I think it's going to give me like Delicate energy because Delicate was, the music video was about, being a star and being in the public spotlight and the great deal of invisibility, the alienation that comes with being so visible. So that was pretty smart. That was pretty smart. But yeah, I think that'll be the Delicate energy. Okay, I'm not even gonna talk about Delicate anymore because Snow on the Beach featuring Lana Del Rey is next, being the longest song on the album. I am so excited for this, guys. When I tell you that Snow on the Beach will be one of my favorite songs, I really mean it. I just know this song will grow on me. I think it'll be my second favorite song from the entire album. I love Lana Del Rey. I love Taylor Swift. I follow them both on Spotify, which once again, I don't follow many people on Spotify. I cannot wait for this collaboration. I think it's going to be brilliant. And it's the only like proper, collaboration on the album. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. Fifthly, we have You're on Your Own Kid, which gives me like Forever Winter vibes because of that line, too young to know gets better, I'll be summer sun for you forever. So You're on Your Own Kid is kind of giving me that energy. And yeah, it's like, I think it'll be about loneliness. I think it'll be about that aimless feeling of being in your 20s, especially because her husband, Joe Alwyn, is, in like conversations with friends. So perhaps that inspired her to write a song about, that aimless feeling of the 20s, which, writers like Sally Rooney in particular have, discussed in depth and explored a lot in recent years. To the point that I'm sick of it. Midnight Rain also gives me that kind of Delicate energy because of her dancing in the rain, and I think I'll really like Midnight Rain. I like songs which evoke like this cool feeling. A lot of the Reputation era songs like Delicate did kind of capture that. So yeah, that's what I think. Question, I think it's going to be mid, as well as Bejeweled. I think Bejeweled and Labyrinth and Sweet Nothing will be three great songs. Labyrinth, Karma, and Vigilante Shit, Reputation Era. Mastermind, I think it'll be like the man vibes. I think it'll have like undertone of feminism, like people kind of believing that Taylor Swift is this conniving mastermind, which I believe she's a very smart and brilliant writer. So yeah, she is a mastermind in that sense. Then there's Hits Different, which I believe will be, I don't know why. I believe that Sweet Nothing, You're on Your Own Kid, and Snow on the Beach, and Labyrinth will be my favorite songs from the album, especially Sweet Nothing, because Joe Alwyn or William Bowery helped Taylor write Folklore. And if he just meant, I don't know if it's him or what, or them collaborating together, but pure poetry is created from the collaboration of those two. So yeah, I think that'll be good. Sweet Nothing has given me like really sort of tolerated vibes. I keep comparing this to her old music and I just don't know what to expect, but also I think I know exactly what to expect. So yeah, those are kind of my predictions. But with Sweet Nothing, I'm specifically excited because Sweet Nothing has like the connotation of like, you know, like he whispered sweet nothings into my ear. And also at the same time, it's suggesting that there's nothing to be found, nothing meaningful at least. Like it's all a facade, like it's not really worth it. Like there's nothing there, you know, like a lack of actual, you know, realness. I have not written a literature assignment in so long, I've forgotten how to write. But yeah, those are my thoughts, and I think the album cover is pretty okay. I think it's pretty cool. I like the design. I don't think it's ugly. I don't think it's I think Folklore will always just be memorable to me, so I'm not going to compare it to Folklore, even though I want to a little bit. But yeah, I like it, and I'm so excited because it's going to come out, and I'm not going to record too much of like my reaction, but I might record my thoughts after I have soaked in them for a bit. So yes, I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.